Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Art Appreciation Week 5. So, for Week 5, our topic is religion as a theme. So, for Week 5, we will discuss the history and elements of Christian, Buddhist, and Islamic art, and also discuss the roles of the gallery, curator, dealer, consultant, and the collector in the art market. So we have here religion as a theme. Christian, Buddhist, and Islamic artist traditions have used elements of symbolism, narrative, ritual, iconoclasm, and authorship to express the tenets of their beliefs throughout history. Religious art also is art that makes use of religious inspiration and or motives, and it is often intended to uplift the mind to the spiritual or communicate the principles of the religion. While incredibly large and varied individually, we can identify certain elements that Christian, Buddhist, and Islamic artistic traditions have used to express the tenets of their beliefs using symbolism, ritual, iconoclasm, and authorship. So, for key points for this one, for religion as a theme, we have Christian sacred art is produced in an attempt to illustrate, supplement, and portray intangible form and principles of Christianity. Most Christian art is built around themes familiar to the intended observer. Buddhist art followed believers as a dharma spread and evolved in each new host country. It developed to the north through Central Asia and into Eastern Asia to form the northern branch of Buddhist art, and to the east as far as Southeast Asia to form the southern branch of Buddhist art. Also, Islamic art prohibited the depiction of representational images in religious art. Therefore, the naturally decorative nature of Arabic script led to the use of calligraphic decorations, which usually involve repeating geometrical fat patterns that express ideals of order and nature. Religion and spirituality has been a theme in art throughout history and throughout many areas of the world, from Hinduism and Judaism to indigenous spiritual practices. So the key terms that we have here is iconoclasm, the deliberate destruction of religious icons and other symbols or monuments, usually with religious or political motives. We also have religious art, which is artistic imagery using religious inspiration and motives, often intended to uplift the mind to the spiritual. So let's further discuss Christian art, Buddhist art, and Islamic art, and also the uh, religion in art. So I will show you a video discussion about this one. GC Powton. So first I will show you how art and religion are related.
painted using Powtoon.
Try Les Mills Plus, free for 30 days.
Ngayon parang ano pa rin sa akin, traumatic pa rin yung nangyari sa akin.
Religious themes in art.
Let's talk about religious themes in the painting Christ in the House of His Parents by John Everett Millais. This painting is done in a detailed and realistic manner that is typical of the Pre-Raphaelite painters. In this oil, from 1850, Millais depicts a young Christ in the middle of his father's workshop. First, let's interpret the narrative of the painting. There's a lot going on here. Christ has entered looking for his parents because he has injured his hand. In the center, the Virgin Mary comforts Christ and is about to kiss him with worried expression. Saint Joseph holds his left hand and checks the injury. Other two carpenters that are working in the shop stop their work to pay attention to the boy. Another young boy brings in a bowl with fresh water to clean his wound. We can identify this second boy in the painting as Saint John the Baptist because he is covered with animal skin as he later is portrayed in the Bible. Millais' composition helps communicate the importance of the main character. Here, the figure of Christ acts as a central point for the radial composition. Each radius is pointing in the direction of every other character. Note how everyone in the picture is facing the child. Millais balances the image by dividing the picture plane into left and right, which mirror each other. Notice the open doors and the figures that are positioned equally. Like other Pre-Raphaelite works, this painting contains many religious symbols that would be significant to the audience. There is a cross over Jesus, casually formed by a crack in the wall and a tool. This cross, as well as his pierced hand, reflects the future sacrifice he will do. Under the cross, a woodshop triangle seems to float over Christ's head. It is the same triangle used to represent the Sacred Trinity. However, Millais tilts it over one side to make it less obvious. Through the left door, we can see in the background a flock of sheep that represent the future followers of Jesus' church. Besides the cross on the wall, a sphere balanced over a ladder with 3 spaces, each of which represent a decade of his life. He lived for 33 years. The sphere is located in the first space, indicating that in that moment, Jesus is completing 1 decade of his life. The gestures portrayed by the figures would also have had religious significance to the audience. You'll notice that Mary is kneeling and holding her hands very much in a position that people adopt in church today. The second boy, Saint John, is holding a bowl with water representing the sacrament of baptism, with which a person is consecrated into the Catholic faith. With all these symbols in his artwork, Millais suggests hints at the future life of Christ and the Catholic Church. Also note that this is a realistic portrayal of an everyday scene of Jesus and his family, who are shown as a humble and working unity. The workshop is messy and dirty with wood scrapes, a surrounding not often considered proper for the Son of God. Christ is depicted as a fragile and whining boy, searching for his parents' attention, very contrary to the strong and benevolent image we are used to see. In this sense, Millais gives us, the viewers, a different representation of Christ and his family. He shows them as a normal people who suffer and work hard. I hope you enjoyed this tour.
So now let's discuss the market. So the market is the key components of the art market are the gallery, curator, dealer, consultant, and collector. The art market is an economic ecosystem that relies not only on supply and demand but on the fabrication of a work's predicted future monetary and or cultural value. The art market can appear somewhat unclear since artists do not make art with the sole intention of selling it, and buyers often have no idea of the value of their purchase as well. The art market is made up of two parts. So the two parts is the primary market and the secondary market. The primary art market refers to art that enters the market for the first time, while the secondary market refers to the artworks that have been sold at least once before. So that is the primary components of art market. We have primary and secondary market. So, pag nabenta ang isang work or once a work is sold, it is now entered to the secondary market, and the price which is sold has a direct influence on its subsequent price. So, ganun yung nangyayari sa market sa art. So, ang curator is generally the manager of the gallery and the person who programs the space and organize art shows. Curators at commercial galleries may have the responsibility of selling work, while those at museums generally maintain the organizational aspects of exhibition. Art dealers as well are persons or companies who buy and sell works of art. They typically seek out artists to represent while simultaneously building relationships with collectors and museums to whom they might be able to sell the work. Dealers are often able to anticipate market trends, and some prominent dealers might be able to influence the taste of the market. Many dealers specialize in a particular style, region, or time period and travel internationally to exhibitions, auctions, artist studios, and art fairs to pick up new work. So an example of a highly notable art dealer is Larry Gagosian, who also owns Gagosian Gallery, which is a highly influential art gallery. So ang art fairs naman is an act as conventions or large-scale shows where galleries display the work of select artists whom they represent and are important to the structure of the contemporary art market. Prominent art fairs include Art Basel, Scope, Frieze Art Fair, Nada, and the Armory Show. So the tradition of selling art at auction dates back to the 17th century and continues to thrive today. Art auction deals in the most highly valued of art, such as works by Picasso, Manet, Jeff Koons, and Andy Warhol. The leading auction houses are Christie's and Sotheby's. So the key points for this one, the art market is an economic ecosystem that relies not only on supply and demand, but also on the fabrication of a work's predicted future monetary or cultural value. The primary art market refers to that enters the market for the first time, while the secondary market refers to the artworks that have been sold at least once before. An art dealer is a person or a company who buys and sells work of arts, and art galleries are commercials or privately funded businesses that deal in artworks and typically made by contemporary artists. The curator is the manager or director of the gallery who traditionally programs the space and organizes art shows. Art fairs act as conventions or large-scale shows where galleries display the work of select artists whom they represent. Key terms we have nonprofit, an organization that exists for a reason other than to make profit, such as charitable educational service organization. Curator is a person who manages, administers, or organizes a collection either independently or employed by a museum, library, archive, or zoo. So for week 5 requirements, we have only activity 1, retrieve 1 religious art painting, and identify the different elements of art presented. Discuss. So any religious art painting, it could be Islamic, Buddhist, or a Christian art painting. And also discuss thoroughly the representation of the elements in the painting, and in a clean sheet of bond paper, print a copy of the painting with proper citation. Once again, the title of the painting, the artist, year it was painted, art movement it was produced, and below the photo should be a descriptive content discussing the different elements present or present in the painting that you choose. So that is for week 5 requirements. So that is all for our preliminary lessons, week 1 to 5. So see you for our prelim exam.